Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Bedtime Stories with Yash, where I, Yash Sharma, read you two new stories every single evening. But today, we are going to finish the Akbar and Birbal book that we started. So, there are just two stories left in the old book, and we are going to begin with book number 2. So, we'll be reading a total of 3 stories this evening. Now, like always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I request you do that immediately. Click on the subscribe button under this video. And I've also posted links to the school's Facebook and Instagram pages. Now, there are a lot of activities that are going on in the school every single day. So, if you like to check them out, follow the Facebook and Instagram pages. A strange dream. One fine evening, Akbar and Birbal were taking a walk in the garden. Akbar thought of making fun of Birbal. He said, "Birbal, last night I had a strange dream, but I cannot tell you about it." Birbal realized that Akbar was trying to make fun of him. He said politely, "Oh, I see. But your majesty, after all, it was only a dream. Does a dream ever come true? Please do not hesitate to tell me about your dream." Akbar was in a mood to argue with Birbal, so he said, "No, never. No, Birbal. I know you will feel bad. The dream is so strange that you may not like to hear about it." Birbal said, "Your Majesty, I assure you that your words will not hurt me at all. But if you do not wish to tell me about the dream, I do not mind that at all." Akbar realized that Birbal would not insist any further. He did not want to lose this great opportunity to outwit Birbal. So he said, "Oh no, Birbal. Listen, I must tell you about it." So one evening, Birbal and Akbar, as they were taking a walk, Akbar thought that he should make fun of Birbal. So he said that, "Birbal, I had a dream, but I cannot tell you about the dream." And Birbal quickly understood what Akbar's plan was. So he said, "Okay, your majesty, it's okay if you don't want to tell me about your dream." He continued, "Last evening, I dreamt that both of us had gone for a long walk. On one side of the road, there were two big pools. One was full of honey and the other was filled with mud. Suddenly, as we were walking, we slipped. I fell into the pool of honey and you fell into the pool of mud." Birbal asked calmly, "What happened then?" So this is the illustration of Birbal falling in the pool of mud and Akbar falling in the pool of honey. So let's see what happens next. Akbar said, "What could have happened then? The dream was over and I woke up." Birbal said, "Oh, wonderful! What a coincidence! I too had a similar dream last night, but my dream lasted a little longer than yours." Akbar was now interested in what Birbal had to say. Now Akbar said, now let's see what Birbal says. He said, "Oh, I see. In that case, you can certainly tell me what happened next in the dream." Birbal said, "Oh no, forget it. Your Majesty, dreams are dreams after all. They have no meaning at all." Hearing this, Akbar became all the more curious and eager to know about Birbal's dream. So Birbal created suspense by telling Akbar that, "Oh no, Majesty, forget it. Dreams are dreams after all. Kyun dhyan dena? Chhod do." So then Akbar became all the more interested. Birbal said, "As you wish, Your Majesty." With great effort, both of us came out of the pools. Honey was dripping from all over your body, and my whole body was smeared with mud. Smeared with mud meaning covered with mud. Akbar was happy to hear this and he said, "You are right. That was what exactly happened. Your dream must have ended there." Birbal said, "Of course not, Your Majesty. The most important part comes now. You see, after coming out of the pool, you started licking my hands and I started licking yours. And that was the end of the dream. But Your Majesty, you should not feel bad about it. It was just a dream. And dreams are dreams, not reality." Once again, Birbal had outsmarted Akbar. So that was the story where Akbar and Birbal fell into a pool of mud and honey, and then how Birbal outsmarted Akbar. So let's move on to the next one. The Unconscious Witness. A Brahmin came to see the city of Delhi. He did not know anyone in the city. A merchant took pity on the Brahmin and gave him shelter. He also gave him some food to eat and a small room to sleep for the night. So a Brahmin had come to the city of Delhi to see the city. Okay? There was a great menace of thieves in Delhi during those days. A great menace meaning a great trouble caused by thieves during those days in Delhi. Emperor Akbar's guards patrolled the city streets during the night. Emperor Akbar's guards patrolled meaning they used to move around and check if there were any thieves on the roads. Okay? He used to steal things when he was on duty. That night, the guard came to the house of the merchant who had given shelter to the Brahmin. The Brahmin was fast asleep in the room. The guard made a hole in the wall and entered the room. In one corner of the room, he noticed a box belonging to the merchant. It was locked. The guard picked up the box and started to walk out of the room. Meanwhile, the Brahmin was awakened by the noise and the sound of the guard's footsteps. Seeing the Brahmin, the guard tried to escape, but the Brahmin caught him. The guard tried to tempt the Brahmin. That means he tried to bribe the Brahmin. He said, "Please let me go. We will share the contents of this box equally between the two of us." So this is the guard who used to steal and the Brahmin who was sleeping in that room. The Brahmin did not agree. He was about to shout for help and wake the merchant up. Suddenly, the guard started shouting. The merchant was awakened by the commotion. He arrived at the scene. Before the Brahmin could say a word, the guard said to the merchant, "Sir, this man was trying to run away with your box. I have caught him red-handed. Look, sir, he had also made a hole in the wall." The merchant believed the guard's story. Since the guard had caught the thief, the matter was taken to the court. Now, the Brahmin tried to call the merchant for help, but before he could do so, the guard himself shouted and called the merchant. The merchant woke up because of the commotion and said, "What happened? What happened?" And then the guard told the merchant that, "Sir, this man, the Brahmin that you had given this room to, I have caught him red-handed. Look, he made a hole in the wall and he was trying to run away with your box." Then let's see what happened. The guard, the Brahmin, and the merchant were produced before Birbal. At first, Birbal called one of his trusted men and whispered something to him. The man left the court. Birbal called the guard and the Brahmin and started questioning them. After some time, the man left the court, came back running. He looked worried. He said to Birbal, "Sir, my son and I had gone to the Shiva temple. While we were coming out of the temple, my son fell down and became unconscious. I have to take him to a doctor. Sir, will you please send 2 of your men to help me?" So that's what happened. So Birbal had said something in a person's ear and then he went running outside the court. He came back looking worried. He said, "Sir, I and my son had gone to the Shiva temple, but then my son fell down and he fell unconscious and he became unconscious. I have to take him to the doctor. Can you please send someone?" Birbal said, "Please wait here. I want you here for some important work. I will send this guard and the Brahmin to the temple. They will carry your son and bring him here. You need not worry." The guard and the Brahmin reached the temple. They picked up the unconscious boy. While they were returning to the court, the Brahmin said to the guard, "Listen, brother, you were the one who broke into the merchant's house. You were running away with the box. I stopped you from stealing. Yet you lied to everyone? Why did you trap me in this offense?" Now the Brahmin is questioning the guard, saying, "I am innocent. You did everything and then you are telling that everything was done by me? How could you do this to me?" The guard said, "You are right, but nothing can be done now. I had offered you half the share of the stolen things, but you did not agree. Now you will have to bear the punishment." The guard and the Brahmin kept arguing with each other as they carried the boy to the court. When they reached the court, they laid the boy down on the floor. Once again, Birbal asked the guard and the Brahmin to tell the truth, but each accused each other of the theft. Now, the guard and the Brahmin brought the boy to the court, and while they were bringing the boy to the court, they were arguing all the way. He was blaming the other person and the other person was blaming him. So this is what was happening. Then after reaching the court, Birbal asked both the men to tell the truth. But then the same thing was happening. Birbal said, "Look, if you both don't stop arguing, How can I catch the thief? No sooner did Birbal say this than the unconscious boy got up. He said to Birbal, "Sir, the guard is the real thief. He had trapped the poor Brahmin in this offense." The boy narrated the conversation between the guard and the Brahmin while they were bringing him to the court. Birbal acquitted the Brahmin honorably and sent the guard to jail. So Birbal acquitted the Brahmin. That means he recognized that the Brahmin was not a thief, and he sent the guard to the jail. So this is what happened. So this is the little boy who was unconscious all the way. He was acting to be unconscious. So with this story, you can see that Birbal was so smart when he did not see a possible way how to find out who is the real thief. He sent a boy. He made him act like he was unconscious all this while. And then he listened to everything that the guard and the Brahmin were saying all the way when they were bringing the boy to the court. So this happened, and Birbal could finally get to know who was the real thief. So that was the story number 2. Let's get on to the new book. Book number 2, Birbal the Wise. And let's begin with the first story from this book. Why is there no hair on the palm? One day, Akbar and Birbal went for horse riding. They rode on until they reached a small stream. Both of them were very tired. They dismounted from their horses and drank the cool and refreshing water of the stream. They dismounted from their horses, meaning that they got down from their horses and then started drinking water. Okay? As Akbar was drinking water, he noticed deep marks of reins on his palms. Reins meaning the string that is held while riding a horse. He showed his palms to Birbal. Suddenly, Akbar had an idea. He asked Birbal, "Birbal, can you tell me why there is no hair on my palms?" Birbal said, "Certainly, Your Majesty. Every day you generously give alms to the poor and the needy, and therefore your palms get rubbed often. That is the reason why there is no hair on your palms." So Birbal, with his ready wit, he replied, "Certainly, Your Majesty. You are so generous that you give alms to the poor and the needy every single day using your own hands, and therefore your palms get rubbed off often. Your palms are rubbed off, and then that is the reason why there is no hair on your palm." Akbar was pleased with the explanation, as it meant that he was very generous. But again, he said to Birbal, "I agree with what you say. But tell me, Birbal, why is there no hair on your palms?" Birbal said, "Your Majesty, you give me many gifts and rewards every day. My palms get rubbed when I receive them, so there is no hair on my palms too." So Akbar was very pleased with Birbal's answer, and then he asked Birbal, "But Birbal, can you tell me why is there no hair on your palm? I am generous, which is understood. Okay, theek hai. I give alms to the poor and the needy every single day. But can you tell me why is there no hair on your palms?" So Birbal replied, "Your Majesty, you give me so many gifts and things every single day that my also palms get rubbed, and therefore I have no hair on my palms." Akbar said to himself, "What a clever fellow Birbal is." But he still wanted to test Birbal by asking him a more difficult question. He said, "Birbal, I accept your explanation that your palms get rubbed several times during the day. But why is there no hair on the palms of our courtiers too? What reason have you to offer for that?" Now Birbal smiled. He said, "Oh yes, it is quite simple. You give me gifts and rewards each day. The courtiers do not appreciate this. They feel jealous and angry, but they are helpless, so they keep on rubbing their own palms. How can hair grow on palms when they are always rubbed?" Hearing Birbal's reply, Akbar burst out laughing. Akbar and Birbal then rode back to their palace. So Akbar asked Birbal the question, "Now it is understood that I give you many gifts and your palms also get rubbed, but why is there no hair on the palms of our courtiers, on the palms of other people who are there in our court?" So Birbal said, "The courtiers don't appreciate your gesture of giving me gifts every single day, so they rub their own palms." Now Akbar is giving gifts to Birbal again. So when the palms are rubbed together every single day, every single time, how can hair grow on those palms? So that was Birbal's clever reply to Akbar. So that was the third story for the day. I hope you like this one, and I'll see you in the next episode of Bedtime Stories with Yash tomorrow. Bye bye.